Hello, and thank you for joining me in the Dolomites. No, I'm only joking. Looks like it though. The Dolomites in Sussex. It's definitely giving me that vibe. I've got to climb over all these rocks that fell because now, well, they go so far towards the beach that they go in the water now. So I've got to try and find my way over these slippy rocks and back on the beach. Welcome back everyone. Thanks for joining me again on another training walk. It's Mediterranean, training for the National Three Peaks in the world's biggest playground. The world. Today, this part of it is Berlin Gap. By now on this channel you should be quite familiar with this part of the world. I think this is my third visit here. You can obviously tell I quite like it. And considering all the weather we've had at the moment, avoiding fields, paths and mud isn't a bad shout, especially as I can't get to the mountains today. So the beach is probably quite a safe bet, and then up on the cliffs and give my legs a good workout today. So let's go down on the beach and I'll tell you what today's all about. Today I'm going to try and beat the tide. It's currently out. Low tide's been the best part of an hour and a bit. High tide's at around midday-ish. It's 20 past 8 in the morning now. And my walk towards Beachy Head from Berlin Gap, round the head, and then I'm going to scale up the cliffs where I can scramble up and then back onto the top of the cliffs to return back. Well, it's another breezy day as I start my hike today, but I'm quite lucky with the weather. Guess what it's been doing recently? Yeah, raining. And there's forecast rain for 11 o'clock this morning. So I've got this small little window where I can enjoy a little bit of dry weather and do this little challenge, which I've been wanting to do for a while. Give myself a good few hours before the tide comes in proper and enjoy it a little bit more. I was just stood on the rock pools over there, which I'm tempted to go back over actually in a minute. I probably will, because it's too fun not to. But just stood there taking a few shots, and I looked around and all of a sudden the water was all around me. So definitely coming in. I see over there, I see things like that, and I think I've just got to go and have a little explore and a play. Just what I love about when the tide's out. It's just a massive playground, these rocky beaches. So cool. And right behind me, these cliffs just tower. Now, I would say, you know, I'm not sure this was 100% the best idea to be stood down here with these chalk cliffs towering above me. But generally, I think chalk cliffs are a little bit more stable, even with all the water, all the weather we've been having. It's those sort of muddy clay-like cliffs, like the ones on the Isle of Wight, that are more prone to slippage. Doesn't mean these won't, so I just got to be very careful as I walk along here today. Just keep an eye on them, because it's not like they don't fall from time to time. Just have a look at that. See how windy it is today. You see how fast the clouds are moving, being blown inland. Very chilly day. Let me go in the sun, warm up a bit. You're welcome. So what am I doing back in the Seven Sisters Country Park? Well, why not? I do like it here, and you can probably see why. It's amazing. I've got little option at the moment. The last few I've done have been too muddy, so this makes sense. I'm hoping for a more straightforward walk today, something with a little element of danger, not silly danger, fun danger. Yeah, I mean, just coming to this area, you can see the tide's out, but man, look at that flooding. The channel is really flooded today. I wonder if that'll ever go away and subside. I couldn't help it. I do love it here. I think I've said it before, it's definitely one of my happy places. It really is. It's lovely in the sun. This gives me an impression that spring is on the way. Alright, I'm back on the beach now. That's fun. If I carry on doing that, I think I'm going to break something. Probably my legs or my ankles or something. It is very slippery. Now, I have wanted to do this walk for so long. I don't think I've been much further than where I am now. Definitely haven't been around that corner there, ever. I'm quite looking forward to it. It's going to be a really good workout on the legs, I think, today. As long as I'm walking along the beach and you can hear it crunch, crunch, crunch. It's quite hard going on the legs. So this is really, wow. Wow. This is really going to push my legs, because then once I've given them a beasting along the beach here, I go up and down. Short cliffs now. They're actually overhanging right there at that point. It's a little unnerving actually. But it takes me back to my last video where I was talking about when you stood at the base of something like this, cliffs, mountains, it's humbling. It really is. It's a weird feeling I'm getting right now. It's very exciting though. Very exciting. So I don't know if you can quite see it, there's quite a few actual cracks. You can see the carving of the chalk, you know, obviously here, but there's some actual cracks. I'm not sure if this is, you can see there's like a V there. Yeah, a little unnerving. You got to think what the chances are. Right, yeah, it could happen and it does happen. It does make you think though, doesn't it? So yeah, this is officially the furthest I've gone around here. It's about here. I haven't been any further than here. And you certainly wouldn't want to be caught here with the tide right up against you. That would be quite scary. It's so isolated. 10-minute walk from Berlin Gap and I'm in my own little part of the world. It's like being on another planet. It's that whole otherworldly thing again. It's like a dream. Dreams to me are great because I love to go to bed and sleep, because having dreams it's like, well, it is having an adventure. You have adventures in your dreams. You go to places you couldn't even imagine. You literally do. Not that you have control about it unless you can lucid dream. Your brain comes up with these places and situations that you could never go or do in real life. But being out here, places like this and all the other places that I've been to, this is about as close as it gets to these otherworldly landscapes without actually travelling to another planet. It's late March as I film this now, and there's a couple of cool things are happening at the moment, or soon. First is at the weekend the clocks change, and extra time to play, and it just gets better from there really. The other cool thing is that signifies the end of March and the start of April. April for me is the last full month of training before I make my attempt at the challenge in May, and I've got a date for it as well. But that does mean I have to really get serious about my training and find some mountains. I haven't been to Ben Nevis yet, Scaffold Pike, but they are on the agenda. I will be doing those next month. It's going to be quite an exciting month actually. You know, I think I've been quite sensible with my challenge. In the wrong place, a beat the tide challenge could be stupid. You know, there are some beaches you literally can't beat the tide. It comes in faster than you can run. That's dangerous. But yeah, I think I'm being fairly safe with today's challenge. Yes, it's a beat the tide challenge, and yes, I've got no escape route here. Whoa, wow, that's a slippery rock, and I'm high up. I'll break my leg before I do the challenge. Right, whew. What was I saying? I was waffling. Oh yeah, I have no escape routes. I'm going to be quite honest about that. I either go back the way I came or continue. And as I can't see the lighthouse yet, I've still got a way to go. But I have given myself a good 4 hours to do something that's going to take me about an hour and a half, 2 hours at most. So I've got twice as much time as I should need. Everyone knows where I am. I've got good signal. And I got my phone on me. Things like that. But what makes me say that is, if you were caught here And that's a horrible thing to say, but it's just a thought that's crossed my mind naturally. If you were caught here and the tide was, well, anywhere here, that would be incredibly scary. There's no escape routes on this route, at least for a good hour of walking along this path. So if you are going to do it, you must check the tide times, because you can't just duck off to the side. You're committed. And for me, that's part of the excitement. But in doing this, you can really see how easy it can be to get trapped. So with that in mind, I think I'm just going to get a move on. Because even though I've got hours to go, it's quite obvious that the tide is coming in. Now, some parts of this route though, you have to look up and then see, well, maybe don't look up, because you see these overhangs and you stand right at the bottom, just here. And then these cliffs, this bit here, is closer to the sea than you are, which makes you think. Right, I'm going to keep moving because this tide is definitely coming in. I got 3 hours. Sure, it'll be fine. There it is, famous lighthouse, Beachy Head. So at least we've reached that waypoint. Well, we can see it. Won't be long till we reach it, and then we'll head up the cliffs just beyond it. And I can see the tide's coming in quite well. I've still got plenty of time, so I'm just going to keep going now. See you on the other side. But yeah, I'm just getting to the lighthouse now, and the water is very close. I've got the water there and the cliff there. Still got about an hour and a half till the tide's fully in, but the water line looks like it's quite high up on the cliffs. So the water's going to cover this beach long before that tide time, because that time is high tide. So this beach is probably going to be covered in less than an hour. I just go around the corner here and then I'm able to make my way up, so I'm nearly done on the beach. So that's not going to be a problem. But this is probably this is the closest I've been to this lighthouse. Very famous. Seen it time and time again, but yeah, it's never been this close. Very cool. So I've got to go around this little bit of rockfall. It's come out quite far and you can see it, like scree or whatever you want to call it, where it's come down and settled. Quite significant. I bet that made a racket. The Dolomites in Sussex, it's definitely giving me that vibe. I've got to climb over all these rocks that fell, because now they go all the way far, well, they go so far towards the beach that they go in the water now. So I've got to try and find my way over these slippy rocks and back on the beach, which I can see. Nearly there. Oh, it's quite sobering when you're trapped, as I said, with no escape route around that head there. And there's no doubt the tide's coming in, there's no mistaking it, there's no getting away from it. You can see it creeping up. And then you look to your left and you can see the high tide line. And you realise that's high tide. And like I said, it looked like the beach would be covered in less than an hour. So I just had a sobering moment there, thinking, I could really be in trouble here. Of course, there was no risk. I did plan this quite safely. But it doesn't stop your mind from wandering in those moments, making you think it's a real danger. Quite exciting. I've now found my way to the end of my beach walk and my escape route, or actually the first opportunity to get off the beach since Berlin Gap. Actually, it's quite a long stretch. Didn't realise how long it was, but long enough, especially as it was all on rocks, pebbles and a little bit of shingle, which is hard going on the legs and the feet. That was as enjoyable as it was exciting and terrifying. But yeah, that was fun. Enjoyed that. So yeah, apologies for not getting much of the lighthouse. Maybe I'll try and get some from above, but from down on the beach, just felt like I was in a bit of a rush. Which, you know, in terms of being safe, is no bad thing. So I'm not sure of the exact routing, but I've got to climb up here somewhere, which I have done before. I can see some pathways and I'm getting some looks from some people, which is a good thing, because it means it's accessible from the top. There's some stairs going up, but I'm not going to take those, so that's not as fun. I found some hills to climb. Let's get it done. Made it off the beach. Now the ups and downs, back to the car. A little less stressful, but no less effort. We go up that, up we go, continuous. It's not a bad route. So I'm getting quite good at picking local routes that still challenge me when I can't get to the mountains. I'd definitely say this is the most tiring one. The one so far that's given me the most continuous agony. That beach walk was non-stop, especially as I had to keep up the pace on that, although I didn't. My mind said I did, so I did. And now, up and down on the cliffs here, it's going to be relentless. Don't let anyone ever tell you the downs are not good for training, walking in the mountains. I wish you could see how steep this is. It looks like 45 degrees from here. That is nuts. That was tiring. I think that's steep. Well, I've been up something steeper in the mountains and with scree in Wales, but that was steep for now. That was the challenge. But good, that's what I came for. I have just got to the top of the climb off the beach, and I would say this is the highest point on the route, and I'll show you why. And in doing so, I'll just prove that it does not disappoint. This view, I can see the rest of my route just there in front. The other lighthouse just on the top of the hill from Berlin Gap, just the end of my route, and the downs, south coast, all the way around back towards Eastbourne. And down the cliffs towards the beach. Just to think I was looking up at these when I was walking down there, thinking, is this a potential escape route? No, it never was, but it never needed to be. The mind plays tricks on me, my mind. Just like the flooding video where I'm walking through the field. I mean, it only went up to my shins, maybe my knees at worst. And my mind's going, you're gonna sink, you're gonna float away. There you go, that's the mind for you. There's one point there, do be warned if you do this route, that unless you go up, right up over some fallen rocks, you gotta walk right on the right into the water. But of course that was at my point. If you go at lowest tide, it will probably be way out. So again, just time that walk. And a piece of advice from my personal experience, high tide doesn't just mean where you want to walk on the beach, it means at the highest point, which may be an hour after the entire beach is covered at certain points, so be careful. It's definitely got an air of spring about it, and it's nice now. Nice relaxed walk back. Lovely weather. I was about to say, does it get much better than this? Not really, unless you had a mountain. Just done that little down and up. Nice little workout. And there's the lighthouse from the other side. And when I walked down there, I don't know if you remember, and I caught it well enough, but it was almost like you could walk to the lighthouse. You might have got your feet wet, but you get more than your feet wet now. Tide's definitely come in quite a bit since I walked there actually. But I remember looking at those rocks just to the left of it as I walked past, thinking if I do get trapped, this is my little safe space. It looks like it'd hold in high tide, but you know, that was just me being overcautious. Speaking of being overcautious, not sure I should be standing so close. That is beautiful. This is reminding me of my first ever video. Well, of course it would. This is where I did it. Not here, I did it the other side, where that lighthouse is. I got to that lighthouse and then I started walking inland, back round through the forest and back to the Seven Sisters Country Park car park, which is where I started my walk that day, not at Berlin Gap. I did pass through Berlin Gap. It's a breezy day today. Every now and then though, it calms down and you forget, and all of a sudden you get this burst of wind just like that. I'm not complaining though, it's a lovely day. But going back to my first video, I can't believe that was about 6 months ago. 6 months ago. And now I'm talking about I've got a date and it's only a month of training left, and where's that time gone? That is scary, but exciting at the same time. I honestly can't wait to do this challenge. One, because it'll be exciting to do the challenge. And the other one is, what happens after? That's my big question. Genuinely, I have no idea. What am I going to do after the Three Peaks challenge? Well, I'm on the final descent into the car park now. Signifies the end of my walk. It's always nice to get back and see your car. Not just because it's the place where you get to take off your boots and put your comfy shoes on and get out your dirty, smelly clothes, but just to confirm that it hasn't been stolen. Or worse still, scratched. So that was a nice walk. Like I said, I think I picked that quite well, with the beach bit being tricky underfoot with the rocks and the pebbles, and then this bit over the cliffs with the ups and downs, some quite steep ones, both directions. And it's very nice. Also good to prove that you can go for a walk in this county without getting your trousers and shoes caked in mud, which is always a bonus. So that's about it from me for now. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you very soon for the next one, where we start to get really focused and get a little bit more intense in the training. Until then, laters. I can see quite clearly to do something 4 hours. Oh, fuck every bloody rock. Yes, I tripped, and yes, prickly bush